Welcome back to Jerusalem Dateline. I'm here with Paul Petitte. He's joining us here to talk about, to report on what's happening. And Paul and I go back many years.
Many.
You started with CBN in 1991.
Right.
And then you left in 97. We were working together in the newsroom.
Yeah, we were, you know, and so to be back together, it's almost surreal, really is.
Yeah, it's
Exciting.
really good. So you're here and you haven't been here, this is your first time.
First time.
What's your impressions?
You know, it's amazing. It's just to be in Jerusalem and just see it, and then, you know, look out and see the Mount of Olives, knowing that's where Jesus said and will return. You know, it's one thing to read about it, but when you come out here, as anybody that's been out here knows, when you see it, it just takes on a whole nother level. And makes it real to you, and frankly emotional. I went to the Western Wall yesterday with my wife, and it was an emotional experience. I didn't anticipate that.
Yeah, what'd you feel?
Just a sense, a presence. You know, we always talk about it, but it was a real presence that I felt, and I was praying, and then, you know, obviously for everything that was going on, how God brought me here, and then of course, just that God would guide Israel, and, you know, for His purposes, which we know He does. And so it, you know, really was. But I didn't anticipate that. That was my prayer, and it was just me and but God was there. So
you're obviously watching the news about what's happening here in Israel. Was there a perception you had before you came, and then when you came here on the ground, was there a change, a difference?
I didn't realize the extent of how much pressure that Netanyahu is under. I see he and Trump as very equivalent on the world stage. Despised in many ways, loved and adored in many ways. And I think being here and seeing how much pressure that is under, you don't, I think from afar, see how impactful that is, because you're getting bits and pieces, but when you're here and you're seeing how fast the news cycle moves, it literally is mind-blowing. Yeah,
doesn't it go almost 24/7 is quite the news cycle, and major things happen, not just little things.
When you realize, when you look at a map, okay, and you have Israel, which is basically what, the size of New Jersey people say, in the context of things, and you realize that the entire world is focused on this country, it sort of puts in reality that it's God's focus too. Otherwise, I mean, it couldn't be any other way. And when you see that, and you see the constant the anger coming from other countries, you know, what they want to accomplish, what they want to do, you know God's got His eye here, because yet this tiny little state's protected.
So coming here, what do you think your perception is? What do people say in the States need to know now that you've been here? You've been oriented about what's happening here. What do they need to know? Because they're kind of 6,000 miles away.
Well, for me, it's all about the media. You know, I spent 15 years in mainstream media in the States, working for ABC affiliates, NBC affiliates, Fox affiliates. And my stepdad used to say when I was young, don't believe anything you read and only half of what you see. It is so true here. It's almost like, I would say, a evil undercurrent to spin everything and demonize Israel and promote Hamas. And when you realize the type of people you cannot, and what drives them, it's sad to see your colleagues in the industry doing that. And particularly the large news services, because it disseminates down, and we're seeing that. And so my word is, hey, do your homework. Don't just believe anything and everything. Read up, learn up. Don't just see a post on social media, which has been brutal in many ways. But you know, within that all, Chris, as I see now, people are starting to learn. People are starting to get, okay, time out. You know, what else is going on here? So that's important too. And so hopefully, what I would say to anybody back home is, you know, don't believe it all. Do your homework. Don't get on the bandwagon until you know what you know.
Paul, any final thoughts?
Pray for Israel. You hear that a lot, right? But really pray, get in the trenches. And God's got a plan, there's no doubt about that. But getting to that point, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of hearts broken. We have hostages. Pray for them. Pray for the IDF. Most of all, just pray that truth wins out in the end. That's what I want focused on, that the truth would win out, and that's God's truth.
Great thoughts. Appreciate you, Paul.
Always, Good to see you again,
Good
man.
to see you too.